Welcome, everyone. This is the Telarus Tuesday call for March 13th, 2018. Telarus is just returning from the second week of our President's Club events, and this one held in Cancun for our qualifying Telarus partners. We want to express our sincere congratulations to all who attended and to our sponsoring suppliers as well. What a tremendous privilege it is for Telarus to help honor our partners' success. Thank you, and we're getting ready to announce our upcoming 2018 President's Club. That announcement coming very soon on an upcoming Telarus Tuesday call. We invite you today to log in to our video feed for all of today's exciting information and to submit questions and comments for our presenters today via our chat window at Telarus.com/start. I'm Doug Miller, joined today by Telarus VP of Sales Operations for Mobility, Tiffany Wolf. Tiffany and her team are your experts in developing, proposing, and closing mobility opportunities and solutions. This is an exciting and a growing space in the telecom market, and Telarus is proud to provide our partners with this specialized internal team of experts that assist you in growing your mobility practice. Today and all of this month, Tiffany and some very special guests will be teaching us how to win with mobility and related opportunities. And today, Tiffany welcomes both Sprint and Sierra Wireless to our Telarus Tuesday call. Those exciting presentations and your questions are coming up in just minutes. If you happen to miss last week's call, we kicked off our month-long training and discussion of mobility and related solutions with exciting presentations from Data2Go Wireless and from Terra Nova Global. Excellent information, along with tremendous prospecting and sales ideas and many questions answered. Definitely worth a listen. Check it out. That recording is available now in your Telarus partner back office. We do have some exciting regional training and networking events to tell you about. Hope you'll join us. It's a twofer coming up this Thursday, March 15th. First, for our Telarus partners near Houston, it's the Telarus and Rackspace Boot Camp from noon until 4 p.m. Central Time at the Rio Ranch Restaurant and Bar. Join Rackspace and Telarus as we learn how to create cloud opportunities and tackle the cloud conversation with customers to increase both customer loyalty and your revenue. We will break down an opportunity from first discovery conversation all the way through to close, and you'll walk away with the knowledge to win that cloud conversation. It's Rackspace Boot Camp coming up on Thursday in Houston. And second, for our Telarus partners near Columbus, Ohio, we hope you'll join Telarus and special guests from AT&T, Wow Business, and RingCentral, as well as Alibaba Cloud, as we discuss the latest in telecom technology. We're meeting on Thursday from 9:30 until 11:30 Eastern Time at Abuelo's Restaurant for lunch and for case studies from these four powerful suppliers. This event is nearly full. I encourage you to register today. And our Telarus Innovation Conferences are in full swing again this month. These TICs, as we like to call them internally, are immersive technology training experiences. There are workshops and case studies on security, SD-WAN, contact center, and much more. Take your business to the next level and network with the industry experts. We've scheduled three of these Telarus Innovation Conferences this month. Here's that schedule. Next Tuesday, March 20th, we will be in both Orange County, California, at the Balboa Bay Resort, hosted by Mr. Jay Littleford, and also we'll be in Waterford, Connecticut, at the Great Neck Country Club, this one hosted by Tina Franke. And then Tina and her team travel to Philadelphia, PA on Thursday, March 22nd. They'll be at the Franklin Institute to meet with our Philly partners. These are all outstanding opportunities. They are designed to help you take full advantage of Telarus tools, resources, and support. And you can register for these and for other great Telarus business building events. It's all at Telarus.com events. We have some special recognition today for our February 2018 Partners of the Month. 3 Telarus partners who put up some of the biggest wins during the month of February. Taking the number 3 spot for the month, we say thanks and congratulations to Telarus partner Terry Johnson. Terry's the owner of Premier Team Incorporated out of Portland, Oregon. Terry and the Premier Team closed a tremendous sale of metro area network services from NetWolves to a customer in the financial services sector. Now, NetWolves offers integrated approaches to the fastest wired options for data transfer. They offer the best solutions while maintaining their technology agnostic position. Premier Team Incorporated helps their clients communicate by keeping them connected. From data centers, voice technologies, network services, and telecom expense management, Premier Team offers clients one point of contact to address all of their network needs. Congratulations, Terry Johnson and Premier Team, on this outstanding NetWolves sale. And taking the number 2 spot for our February sales honors, Telarus recognizes and congratulates Christopher Paskowich and the team at CompuNet. They're headquartered back in my old neighborhood in Meridian, Idaho. CompuNet sold a very impressive deal. It's a 3-year co-location offering from Flexential, formerly known as ViaWest. They sold that to a large client in the benefits administration field. Flexential offers more than 3 million square feet of data center capacity in the most state-of-the-art, reliable facilities. Our Telarus partner CompuNet offers a host of IT solutions for small and large businesses, including data center, networks, security, managed services, and integrated media. Congratulations, Chris Paskowich and CompuNet, on this fantastic Flexential sale. And topping our leaderboard for the month of February, it's Telarus Diamond partner Rick Underwood and his team at KDG Consulting out of Fort McCoy, Florida. Rick has set the bar again with another month of stellar sales with NITEL. Telarus is now a NITEL Elite partner with all of the associated NITEL resources and support for our Telarus partners. Rick and NITEL have innovated a process by which he provides highly specialized services to a very specific market and repeats it, does it over and over again. We are so appreciative that they trust that business to Telarus. Congratulations, Rick Underwood and KDG Consulting, with our top sale of the month for February. It has been a terrific 2018 so far, thanks to these 3 top-selling partners and to all of you for trusting Telarus with your business. Telarus is built for you. Well, we have so much information to present again today. We won't recap training opportunities or featured spiffs, but we do want you to know that all of our live and recorded training opportunities are in your partner back office at agent.telarus.com. And those spiffs and promotions, they're all listed at promo.telarus.com. You really should check these out. Make some extra money for the efforts that you provide for your clients. Some fantastic offerings listed on that site. Well, it is time for our main event. We are talking mobility and related technologies, opportunities, and applications this month. We will be joined later today by Tiffany Wolf. Tiffany is Telarus VP of Sales Operations for Mobility. She and her team of specialists are the very best in this field and have completely opened this area of telecom for our Telarus partners. Tiffany and her team know the market. They know the pricing, the strategies, and the available compensation. Tiffany, by the way, has just published a terrific LinkedIn piece on becoming an effective mobility consultant. This is a must-read for partners wishing to quickly grow this area of their practice. I highly recommend it to you. Tiffany discusses not only the initial sales opportunity for wireless plans and devices, but also the subsequent opportunities of business-critical applications, mobility management, as well as the questions and strategies that you need to become that trusted mobility advisor. Tiffany Wolf will join us here in just a few minutes. We have 2 exciting presentations today, and first up, very happy to welcome Steve Bergquist from Sprint to our call. You know, in business, the speed of change is swift, and to keep up, you have to embrace the transformation with solutions that make an impact on your business, helping you serve customers better, more profitably, and more securely. That is Sprint, and Steve is Sprint's Manager of Strategic Initiatives and Sales Performance Coaches. Steve, we're so happy you're on the call today. Welcome to our Telarus Tuesday call. How are you?
I am doing great, Doug. How are you today?
Very well. Glad to have you on the call.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, and a quick shout-out back there to Premier Team and CompuNet and KDG, because it sounds like you guys are doing a lot of great things, and would love to continue to see you do some great things, and hopefully that will be with Sprint as you guys move into some of this opportunity to look at mobility and some of the solutions that we offer. So, and Doug, I got to tell you, your voice, everyone tells me I've got the radio voice. I think you have the infomercial voice. So between the two of us, maybe you and I should go on the road sometime.
This is the beginning of a beautiful partnership.
Excellent. I love it. Absolutely love it. Well, good morning, everybody, and I'm assuming morning, depending, I guess morning everywhere across the country right now. So welcome. I am truly honored to be a part of this presentation today. This is a compilation of a bunch of different folks putting some things together, and today we're going to highlight two specific solutions that Sprint offers. One called Sprint MultiLine, which is really about having a second phone number on your phone, and we'll talk through that. And the second is Sprint Dialpad, which is really kind of that soft phone that would reside on your computer and still have some ability to talk with your mobile phone and other things like that. So we're going to jump into to today's presentation and talk about MultiLine first. So if I can have the next slide, please. So let's talk a little bit about what the solution is, how to position the solution, and then some questions to ask. Because what I really feel is it's one thing to get an overview of a particular solution, but if you don't know the questions to ask, you will never sell the solution. So when I get to that slide, I actually call it the money slide, because if you ask those questions, that's how you make money. If you fail to, then it's not a money slide, right? So you got to be able to ask those questions. Now, the first little bullet that I've thrown at the bottom of this, which I think makes this very, very interesting about MultiLine, is that according to Enterprise Mobility, 91% of all enterprise IT decision makers have said that they actually support a bring your own device program, or BYOD, if you're familiar with that term. And the reason why that is so important is why MultiLine is a solution that you can now begin to offer to every single customer that you come in interaction with. Next slide, please. So what is Sprint MultiLine? I'm just going to read that very first paragraph, because, or that first sentence, I should say, because that's really what this is. It is a solution that provides a company-owned phone number for official business on voice and texting, but on an employee's personal smartphone. So think about that for a second. When you start a new job and you walk in with your existing, say, iPhone or Samsung phone that you purchased, your customer, your company now can actually issue a phone number to that personal phone and begin to separate your work calls with your personal calls. We can go to the next slide, please. So let me give you a couple ideas of what this little balance is all about, because when you have one device but two different phone numbers, it allows you as an owner of a company to say, use your device for all the things that you normally would use it for. But when it comes down to work, here's your work phone number, and I want to be able to understand how much you're on the phone, who it is that you're texting with that's through that personal or through that corporate phone number, and I can track and potentially bill for that time that you have even spent on the phone, depending upon what vertical you might be in. But I'm going to be able to keep that balance. And by the way, there's nothing about all of your contacts, all of the other things that you want to keep separate. Your company can't see that. So the things that are personal remain personal. The things that are corporate owned remain corporate owned. I think when we go to the next slide, you'll see even more about what this looks like from a feature perspective. So the features that are on here, when you think about having one device and yet being able to do everything that I just mentioned, the great thing about it is that second bullet on the left-hand side. This is carrier agnostic. So it doesn't matter what phone your customer may already be carrying. It could be a Verizon phone, an AT&T phone. Hopefully it's a Sprint phone, but it doesn't really matter, because this is an application that your customer would download and then begin to manage from that point on. Now, you'll see some other things on here that I think are real key features. Things like mobile recording. So if you think about certain industries, right, if I was a stock trader, if I was a lawyer, these are all billable minutes. But in the past, you probably didn't have a great way to really find what those billable minutes would be. In this solution, Sprint MultiLine, you can actually have those calls set up to be automatically recorded so that as you have that phone call that comes in on that line, or maybe you place that outgoing line, that everything that you say is documented, it's protected, and it's billable. So in that right industry, you actually make money by downloading this feature and having this Sprint MultiLine on your phone. Of course, it's secure, so no worries about that. It's an enterprise-grade solution here from a security perspective, and very, very easy to use. If we go to the next page, I'm actually going to show you kind of the management portal of not what the end user would see, but what would the corporation see. So again, think about maybe me being a vice president of sales, and I want to issue a phone number to my new sales rep that came in. Well, the great thing about that is it's my phone number. So every customer that calls that phone number, they may have already been calling that number from the previous rep that just quit a week ago. So I don't miss a beat from an organization. Well, when I have this portal that you see here up on the screen, it makes it very easy for me to then assign that phone number to my new employee who may have just started today. So I keep the same phone number, the customer has the same phone numbers, but the end user now has Sprint MultiLine and starts taking over that territory from the previous exiting rep. This portal allows me to manage all of that very, very easily. Not just the movement of numbers, but I can manage policy. So I mentioned things like that mobile recording. So I would manage that directly from the portal. And I have this opportunity to actually do some analytics. Again, something that you probably have never had that chance to do, that now with this tool, you can see everything from the number of hours, minutes, text messages, everything that you would want to see available easily there on that portal for you. So let's talk about a couple of differentiators on the next slide. So I mentioned cross-carrier functionality. That's one that I don't want to just glance over. I want to make sure that everyone understands that the opportunity here to have this on any device is what's really, really unique about this. So it doesn't matter the kind of phone, the carrier, the operator system, any device would be able to have Sprint MultiLine. So this handset agnostic environment that we're in, I absolutely love it because it doesn't matter whether it's Apple or Android, they can deploy this. The second slide there, second half of that slide there where it talks about advanced management, the key here about I really look at this number one bullet, it is a company-owned number. So every time you have turnover in your organization and people come and go, the phone number that your customers are used to calling always stays the same. So therefore, you don't have someone leaving your organization maybe to a competitor and then getting those phone calls and possibly getting your business that you should have had. Want to go to the next slide, please? The money slide, right? So these are the questions that I would ask for you to ask if, in fact, you're going to sell Sprint MultiLine. I won't read all of those, but I want to pull out just a couple that I think are really, really huge ones. The first one, do you have a formal BYOD strategy? So in other words, if your customer is one of those 91% that I mentioned on that first slide, if they're one of those 91%, they have a BYOD strategy. What is that? And how do they manage that phone number? Again, if you think about somebody walking in, I don't get to bring my email address to that new company when I start. I get a new one issued to me. So why would I not also want to issue a phone number to my new employee when I give them their new email address, right? Now, when you look at some of these other questions, do your employees conduct business on their personal phone? If they're doing that today, your customer's missing out on potential sales because when that rep quits that organization, they're taking that business with them with their personal phone. Sprint MultiLine prevents that from happening and controls that for your organization. And then you can see the next question, what happens when those employees leave the company? So you can see by asking these handful of questions, what you're really being able to do here is create that framework that sets up that ability to let customers know without Sprint MultiLine, they're missing out on business, and they're also impacting their customer service. So two great things there with Sprint MultiLine that you can think of. Just make sure that you're asking those questions if, in fact, you want to be able to sell MultiLine. That's the money slide. All right, now we're going to shift gears to our next solution. If we can go to the next slide, we're going to talk a little bit about Dialpad. And I mentioned to you that Dialpad is really that soft phone that resides within your computer. So if we can go to the next slide here, I've got a couple of percentages here that really talk about the impact that some of our customers are having today. And what are those challenges, right? So 54% of employees are working from another place besides their office. Now, I think that number sometimes drastically goes up. When you think about events that are happening out right now out on the northeast coast with the nor'easter that's happening, you think about those people that are still conducting business, but they're not doing it from their office. They're doing it from their home, maybe a coffee shop. They're doing it from somewhere that's not the office. 54% of people, of employees say that they rely on their smartphone to work. Well, that's probably even a pretty low statistic, right? I would guess that most of us say I check my corporate email or my corporate phone from my handset multiple times a day. And the last one says 52% of information that workers use, they actually use it on multiple devices, right? So that only makes sense too. If I have that corporate email or the corporate phone number, I'm switching between devices all the time. We can go to the next slide here. I want to tell you just a little bit more about Dialpad. And when you see this, you can really see that having one phone number to ring either my desk phone, which then can also simultaneously ring obviously my soft phone on my computer, and then also my mobile device. But it's one number that allows me to go between all of those different devices, really creating an environment that says no matter where you work, you're in 100% connectivity. If we can go to the next slide, I want to talk about a couple controls and then a few questions here for you. So some of these call controls, when you think about soft phones on your computer, realize that the ability to do so many things that you're probably already doing in your PBX are able to be done now, but in the cloud. So you can do things like, again, recording calls, transferring calls, by the way, both ways, right? I can transfer it from my desk to my cell phone and back and forth. And of course, I can make three-way calls or of course, conference calls. I'm able to share departmental voicemails with other team members. So if I happen to have one voicemail, it's easily shared because it actually comes in through a file into my email. So it's easily shared with other people if someone else needs to hear that. And of course, it's very easy, again, to switch between mobile and desktop. Because remember, over half the people today aren't even coming to an office in order to get things done. We can go to the next slide. Again, a money slide. So here's a few questions for you to be able to ask, again, if in fact you want to sell Dialpad. If you don't, then don't ask any of these questions, of course, right? But if you want to sell this and make some extra money, this is how you're going to be able to position Dialpad in front of your customer. So the first one says, are you due for an upgrade with your phone system? Now, if you think about desk phone systems and PBXs, they are extremely expensive. So if you happen to find this easy one that says they're getting ready to upgrade, my guess is they're actually getting ready to upgrade, but to a cloud-based solution. So you may have gotten to them at the exact perfect time. So you got to love it when you get a yes to that question. The next one says there, would you be open to cutting your costs? Now, I know a lot of you guys are used to selling TDM solutions, right, where we just have, basically a plain old POTS line if you think about a telephone line service. This would actually allow you to cut your service upwards to 30%. So you get a little opportunity here now, depending upon who you're talking with, that if you're in contact with someone who's responsible for controlling costs within the business, this is a great way for them to actually reduce their expenses, not only from a hard cost, but also soft cost as well. And then the last one here, would you like to get more out of your other cloud investments? So if they happen to be using maybe Google Apps for Work or Microsoft Office, they actually have an ability to better integrate those solutions between their voice calling and, in fact, all the other applications that they use within their device. So next slide, if I can, I'm going to give you just a little bit of information. If you need some additional information on this, which I hope that you would, because I went over two great solutions really in a matter of about 14 minutes there. So if you need some additional help, contact at mobility@telarus.com email address, or Tiffany Wolf, again, is someone that would be a great point of contact for you. So with that, I will return the call back to, I guess, probably to Doug. So Doug, thank you very much for the time today, and I will stick around for questions at the end.
Sounds great, Steve. That's Steve Bergquist from Sprint. Man, what a great presentation. So many available opportunities and applications that are available in this part of the industry. And, of course, Sprint, one of our just premier suppliers. We appreciate so much having Steve and Sprint on the call today. Q&A with Steve Bergquist from Sprint coming up at the call's conclusion. We are also joined today by Sierra Wireless. And when your clients start with Sierra Wireless's intelligent wireless solutions, they're building for the future. Their innovative products, solutions, and services already connect thousands of businesses to critical data and millions of people to information. Sierra is focused on developing technology solutions and empowering businesses and industries to transform and thrive in this connected economy so that they can reduce complexity, so they can turn data into intelligence and get their connected products and services to market faster. We're very happy today to have Chris Whitaker from Sierra Wireless on our call. He is the National Director of Channel Sales. Chris, so happy to have you. Welcome to the Tuesday call.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here, and I have to agree, that was a fantastic presentation. Managing hundreds of salespeople in my path, well, I wish I'd had that kind of solution. So very good stuff there. In fact, just a small correction, if you look at Sierra Wireless as a whole, being an international company, about 25 years, literally millions of devices are connected with our equipment and our networks. And we're going to talk today specifically about a few of those options that are really growing and very popular. So we'll go to the next slide. And then the next, if you like, you can get my information there, but that's in the back office as well. So we'll go to the next slide. So this is really kind of my, and it's funny, this was originally like a 30-slide deck, and so I said, Chris, you need 3 or 4 slides. Wait, we can't give you that much time, right? So I'm passionate about this, and I love it. There's a lot to talk about, but this really sums it up. So what we've done at Sierra, we're known to be an equipment manufacturer of gateways and modules and smart SIMs, a lot of cool stuff that we're working hard to bring into this relationship. But, today we have something called the managed connectivity solution. So, one of the challenges that I talked, we've talked with our partners and customer base, with everything going in the cloud, the need to have an alternate connection that's diverse physically and carrier-wise, it's just becoming more and more critical. So, every solution really needs to have a Sierra managed connectivity solution circuit on it. And when I say it's bundled, let me talk about that for a minute. So we do have 100% coverage in all 50 states and Puerto Rico. We're working hard as well, being an international company. We should have this internationally. So a lot of contracts involved there. We do aggregate all the top carriers across our footprints. Whether it be, IoT, smaller data usage, but, again, for managed connectivity solution in the 50 U.S. states, Puerto Rico, it is all 4G LTE. And one of the benefits there is, the biggest wins we have are always large retail. I'm going to talk about that in a moment. But when you have large multiple sites, not one carrier is often going to be the best for hundreds of sites across the country. So we identify the strongest carrier, and we treat it from the customer perspective as one bill, one data pool. So that's pretty big right there. Having one bill, one data pool, one portal to manage all your sites, and one flat rate across all your sites. Guaranteed SLA. So again, pretty unique. I can't think of many others that have a guaranteed SLA that actually has a technology behind it to ensure that SLA and measure and monitor that SLA. We do that by a smart antenna that we have created, and it basically has 5 filters in it. It filters out all the non-carrier noise and optimizes the 4G LTE carrier signal. So we can take what is, possibly a weak LTE signal inside the building, in the middle of the building, and optimize it for the purpose of an Ethernet handoff for a data connection to the customer's LAN environment. So, just in case you missed it, we don't do any voice here. It's all data, and we can guarantee that connection for availability, speed, and latency. Vonage Business actually is one of our largest VoIP partners, so I'd like to say if it's good enough for them to use as an alternate connection, it works across all types of VoIP as well. 24/7 live support. Another challenge you have if you're a multi-site network administrator and you're trying to deploy a 4G LTE is, one, you got to go out and pick your equipment. You got to figure out how you're going to get it to each of your sites and get it installed correctly. and you got to pick a carrier. You got to get a SIM card from somebody to put in that device. And then what happens when it doesn't work one day? Who do you call? You know, because back to the whole classic finger pointing. You call the carrier, oh, it must be your equipment manufacturer. You call the equipment manufacturer, oh, it must be the carrier. So it's here we've taken all that out of the equation, and we own the whole solution. And we, being the customer of record with the carriers, it's our equipment. We manufacture our own equipment. We manufacture our own modules that go inside our equipment. So we have complete control of that. It's 24/7, 365, and one call across all your sites, and we can overnight equipment if there's equipment failure, or most times we can remotely fix where the problem is, which kind of leads me to the other column, dual SIMs. So not only is the need for diversity so important when you're looking at a data network connection, we can be that diverse alternate connection, but we even bring additional diversity. So in our device we ship out, we have 2 SIM cards in it. And we pick the 2 strongest carriers for that location. So that means in the event there's a massive landline outage, and if the landline outage is the same carrier as our slot 1, and it's impacting the cell towers for that carrier on slot 1, we can flip it over to slot 2, the second SIM, to a different carrier and continue business. So that is becoming a very popular feature for our customer base. Again, everything's kind of mission critical now. We used to always say mission critical, and it just meant a few things. Nowadays, it's pretty much everything a customer has. The voice over IP, point of sale, CRM, even their HR systems are all in the cloud. So having a simple, safe, and secure solution basically means we deploy with project managers. Over half of our employee base is actually engineers and software developers. So we work hand in hand with these larger deployments, whether it be a single site pawn shop in Topeka, Kansas, or it's a 1,000 sites O'Reilly Auto Parts, that have special needs and concerns around PCI compliance or HIPAA. A lot of those security concerns are really own their own network policies, but having a partner that understands those and knows how to make sure our equipment is provisioned appropriately to give them that level of security and safety and support it year-round and have it all bundled into a simple solution, that's the goal, which kind of sums it up to the single point of contact. You don't have that finger pointing and whatnot. So we go to the next slide. So did we skip the slide? I think we might have skipped one, but maybe not. Business continuity. So this is something that it's not a record-breaking new release, but it is a very popular feature that we see a lot of more and more, especially for the SMB space. So it's great. We can deliver this alternate connection. It's diverse, but what does the customer have on site that's going to manage the failover from either their fiber connection, their cable connection, or even they actually have a T1 still. What's managing that? So you can plug in your landline connection to this device. It will automatically sense when that landline is down, and within seconds flips to cellular. So the business can continue to move on and get emails and receive void calls, etc. And once we identify and we can sense that the landline circuit is back on and it is passing traffic because we're pinging an external IP, we turn off our cellular and it goes back to the landline. So this is some people have said, God, Chris, that's kind of like SD-WAN. I'm like, well, yes, no, not really. It definitely serves that need of having an auto failover and a fail back. We find sometimes people get a 4G LTE connection, cable goes down, they go out back in the back to physically unplug the cable and plug in the 4G LTE. Problem with that is you never know when the cable comes back on, so you're now on a metered plan, and it causes some pain over the billing. So this is a bundled approach. This is our best effort option for $64 a month. It comes with SLA and a smart antenna. We include professional installation. It is a meter plan, so about every 5 gigs you go over, you're looking at $75. And we find the average outage for an SMB can be around 5 gigs. If you don't have any outages, you don't need it. Obviously, you're just paying that monitoring fee and the equipment fee. So this is a real popular thing to bundle with, all your cable sales or anyone that has those mission critical applications. Which again, we're finding it's pretty much every business now. Anybody using cloud services or point of sales and CRM tools. This is a great, it complements it so well And again, it's available in all 50 states. Pretty much wherever a cell phone works, this is going to work just fine for them. So please keep that in mind as you sell your connectivity solutions. Next slide. So typical use cases, just kind of bring it home. These are kind of the 4 areas we see the most opportunities with. Remote sites. We do a lot of, anybody that's off the grid, if you will, from surprising how many landfills there are, concrete processing, water treatment facilities, etc. We can, if there's a cell signal there, we can help you out. Temporary services, whether it be an actual construction trailer, a fireworks stand, Christmas tree stand. One customer we have during the holiday season does a lot of pop-up kiosks and parking lot tents for selling, products. Great opportunity there. We do month-to-month contracts. Urgent needs. I know this doesn't happen much, but occasionally get the cable company shows up on Thursday and the grand opening is on Monday, and oh my goodness, we made a mistake. It needs construction. It's going to be another 2 or 3 months. We get those calls literally every day. And we can help them out. So again, it depends on the use case, and that's something we help you with that identifies that are really a good fit. So, even when the storms and hurricanes come through in certain parts of the country, we've been there in that gap fill as they put the lines back on the poles, and business continues on. And of course, the failover is probably the most popular aspect of the features we offer because, as we've kind of talked about already, it's just so critical to keep this internet up and running. Nobody can really afford to be down because so many things are now running on that connection. Next slide. So didn't have time to get it added to this slide. Obviously, your first stop would be Tiffany's team at mobility@telarus.com, and we also can support you directly and keep them in the loop. We sell alongside our partners, and we've had it broken down into four areas. Your first stop can be our partner help desk for quoting and getting paperwork or any material or scheduling a sales engineer call. And then we have 3 regional channel managers, Diane in the Northeast, Kirsten in the West, and Lori in the Southeast. And they can either do onboarding with you or sales calls with you and help you close these deals and help your customers understand and see the value and the different ways that we can help them out. So I think that's our home road slide there. Next one. Should bring us in. I think that's it. So thank you so much. We look forward to serving you. And again, we're so happy to be partners. And Telarus is our premier master agent, best in the business. And we're really excited to continue our second year of partnership with them and growing. So thanks so much.
Chris, great presentation. We're also very happy to be partnered with Sierra Wireless. That's Chris Whitaker from Sierra Wireless. Terrific presentation and information today. We appreciate both Chris and Steve Bergquist from Sprint being on today's call. Let's tie this all together and open it up for questions and answers. I want to introduce Tiffany Wolf from our Telarus Mobility team. Tiffany, of course, is the VP of Sales Operations for Mobility here at Telarus. Tiffany, welcome to the Tuesday call. Great information today.
Great. Thanks so much, Doug. It's been great. I love all the chat today. Everybody keep having your questions come in. We'll get them answered as quickly as possible. Doug, do we want to go ahead and start Q&A?
Yeah, let's dive right into it. We've had plenty of questions come in on our chat window, and I know you've been making some notes during the call as well and answering a few of them as we go along. Dive right in, and let's throw out some questions for both Steve and Chris.
Awesome. So, hey, Steve, if you're still with us. So a couple of questions came on. Can you talk a little bit about the data consumption with the Dialpad solution? We had a question come in from one of our partners. How much data will this take on a 5-minute phone call? So I'm not sure if you can give an example on that.
You know what? That's a great question. I saw it come through there, and we've actually already pinged some of our solution engineers to try to get an answer to that. So if I get the answer before this call ends, I'll certainly let you know, but I don't have that data consumption rate available to you at this point, so I apologize for that.
No problem. What we'll do, everybody, just so you know, is we'll compile all the questions and so forth, and we'll do a blast out to everybody who attended the call today. So we'll get all that answered too, and we'll also include some of the product and services and pricing for your review as well. So that was a really good question. And keep in mind, it's still voice, so it's not tons of data that's being consumed, but it was a very good question. Let's see. So let's switch over to Chris for a second over at Sierra Wireless. Great presentation. Thanks so much. Chris, I'm not sure if you see some of these questions, but basically, well, sorry guys, everybody's asking so many questions going quickly here. Chris, do you want to go through what's considered a large deal to you?
Yes, great question. I was trying to answer some of those. So typically, I mean, you're right, it's a relative term, but we typically want our channel managers to work on multi-site deals. So really anything is 10 sites or more. If we find 10 sites or more, it's usually ones that are growing and getting bigger and bigger, and they're generally more complex. So, you know, anything 1 to 9, the sales help desk would kind of vet those out and triage them. If it makes sense that a 3-site deal needs a channel manager to engage and help out, we'll do that as well. But the generally more sites, once you start into double digits, it gets there's more questions and more complexity.
Okay, so another great question from Wayne. Sierra Wireless team, do you have physical presence, oops-a-daisies, that just, in Washington, D.C. for installations?
Well, actually we do. So when you have a product that's available in every city in the country, including Alaska and Hawaii and Puerto Rico, we do leverage contractors, you know, so they're third-party contractors. We have 3 national partners, and then we have other resources that, you know, if we're overbooked and we need somebody, I mean, there's so many of these white vans driving around town that do low voltage network wiring and PBX installations and, you know, local IT companies. So for something that, you know, I get asked a lot of partners, go, "Guy, I'll do that for you too. I got a fleet of 3 guys who do these installs for you." So contact me offline, and I'll get you in touch with our install vendor manager, and we'll see if there's an opportunity there.
Awesome. And then we've also had a question coming from Alan Golden. Chris, for you as well. Let's talk about how Sierra Wireless creates pool plans. They gave a great example of pooling or splitting 10 gigs between 30 locations. So how would you assess that?
Well, great question. We basically just divide by the number of sites. So it's not pretty much you would buy a 10 gig plan for 30 sites. You would buy, you know, maybe a 250 meg or 500 meg plan for each site, you know, equaling 10 gig, or we have plans from 10 megabit up to 500 gig. So we also see, when I think about Raleigh Auto Parts, I mean, some of their stores, when we're failover only, you know, they're happy with 250 meg a month. That's all they really need. And then you got those stores that they have DSL T1 because there's no fiber or coax cable, and they put in a 20 gig plan there. So, you know, if you have multiple sites, you can have different data plans per site based on what the use case is. So it's, you know, and it's itemized on the bill and the portal. You can see usage by site. And, you know, we do, a lot of our multi-site retail customers will go, "Wow, I got this one site, you know, the fiber's been down for a week or whatever, and it's really spiked." We can even backdate the data plan change to the time of that outage so they can avoid any overage fees. So we work really close with our partners and customers to kind of minimize that pain of overage. It's just a reality in the business we have. I'm surprised the question has come up that May, you know, about unlimited data. I just want to kind of get that one out there. Read the fine print. A lot of these unlimited data offerings for enterprise data customers, it's truly not unlimited, because once you reach a certain data usage, it is throttled. You know, the speed is throttled down to typical 3G speeds, which makes it difficult, if not possible, to use voice over IP or other applications that are throughput and latency sensitive. So we do expect that to come closer to 2020. We're seeing talks, you know, with, you know, 5G is going to usher in a whole new world of wireless data solutions. So we're really excited to see where that takes us in the next year or so.
Thanks, Chris. Hey, you know what? We have a good question as well. One more here with regards to, why don't you give an example of a typical order to installation interval? Maybe pick 10 site type of an example. Give us an idea how long it took to quote and install. Something probably simple. Chris?
Yes. Yes. No, thank you. That one of our sweet spots, my 17-year prior life, was in the landline business. So this was very exciting to me when I came to Sierra and saw that we can actually deploy with an expedite in 3 or 4 days. Typically, it's more like 7 days. because of we do an RFA, there's a process to make sure we ship out and deploy the right solution and the right carrier. So yeah, we can, if one customer has 10 sites, we can literally, within a week, have all 10 of them online, up and running. My service delivery team, just supporting our channel, we normally do about 30 to 50 sites a day, 5 days a week. And some days it's even more than that if we have a large deployment. But that's one of the biggest feedbacks we get, especially for larger multi-site deployments. It's like, wow, of all the things we had to give this customer, the only thing that was on time and was stress-free was your solution, Chris. Thanks so much. So you'd love to get that feedback because, it's still telecom, still technology. Things can go wrong, obviously, but oftentimes it's in how you recover that. And the fact that we have so little of that to worry about because we don't have to do site surveys, we don't have to do construction, we don't have to get roof rights, we don't have to get right of entry forms filled out, et cetera. We install in the building 90% of the time, which, there's a lot of reasons that's a good thing, from environmental reasons to just ease of installation.
Great. Thanks so much, Chris. And then Sprint teams, Stephen, Mario, question regarding Dialpad. How does it differ from a hosted PBX seat without the IP phone, and how does it compare in pricing?
Mario, did you want to take that? I'm not sure if Mario is live on the phone. Sounds like he may not be. So could you repeat the question a little bit again, Tiffany? Pricing, I know I've got some of that in front of me. But
we'll get the pricing out to everybody. Yeah, so let's talk about the differentiators between a Dialpad solution from a hosted PBX seat without the IP phone.
Without the IP. So I don't know if I'm going to be the expert in that. Unfortunately, I don't bring the technical background that some of you guys may be looking for. Let me address at least the second half of that from a pricing perspective, because the pricing to have the second multi-line phone, assuming that that's the pricing that they're asking for, that starts at exactly $15 per month for Dialpad solutions are at $15 a month. It is also actually another $15 for the multi-line. So both of those solutions happen to start out at the same price points. Now there's some additional features and costs, of course, associated with each one of those, and we can put that and give that all to your resource team there, Tiffany, and have you post that on. I saw a site earlier here about some resources. We'll make sure that we can get that over to you for all the pricing for both products.
Yeah, that's perfect. And as I mentioned earlier, we'll send a blast out to everybody who attended the call today to go through that. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm trying to quickly go through any remaining questions that may have been on here, and really not seeing anything at this point. So, Doug, I'm going to turn it back over to you, and if we've missed anything, we'll address in a blast out.
Thanks, Tiffany. Nice job. We're going to come back to Tiff in just a minute here for her tip of the day, talking about wireless mobility. But before we do that, I want to give both of our presenters today just a moment to kind of sum things up and have the last word for their presentation. Steve, why don't we start with you since you were first today? Steve Bergquist from Sprint. Tie it all together for us. What do you want partners to take away from today's presentation? What should they be doing this week to build their practice?
Excellent. Well, a couple of great things, and thanks again, Doug, for that. So the key in both of these presentations that I shared with you is really the questions that you have to ask. If you think about selling in general, selling isn't telling. So it's not about telling people that we offer a solution or what the solution does. Selling is really about listening, right? It's about asking the right question, understanding exactly what it is that your customer is experiencing as a problem, and then showing them that we have a solution that fits that. So when you think about the two solutions, one is MultiLine, which really the solution there is, are you bringing your own device, and would you like to manage that device even though it's not yours? And that allows you to do that with MultiLine. When I think about Dialpad, I think of connectivity, and I think about sharing resources throughout the organization, no matter where you are. And that's really the key, especially in today's environment, people cutting real estate costs and things like that. If you can work from home or work from a remote location in disaster time or just normal time, having something like Dialpad allows you to be much more effective. And again, asking those questions will help identify exactly what kind of pain points your customer is experiencing.
Thank you very much,
Thank you
Steve.
again, Doug. I appreciate that.
You bet. That's Steve Bergquist. He's the Manager of Strategic Initiatives and Sales Performance Coaches at Sprint, one of our very, very valued partners. We appreciate Steve being on the call today. Chris Whitaker from Sierra Wireless, take us home. What do you want partners to take away from your presentation today? And again, what should they be doing this week?
You know, I agree with Steve. You know, asking the right questions is so important. One of the questions I know we often ask when we get on the call, going back to, someone that was asking about heavy video usage, it's asking the question to the customer, what's the true cost of an outage? How does an outage impact your business? And, if it's a men's barbershop and they're like, you know what, we don't even know when it goes down for days, probably not a good fit, but when they say, well, yeah, when the internet goes down, we can't do business. We can't take orders. We can't process payments. My employees are sitting around twiddling their thumbs because they can't access the CRM, which is online. Those are the kind of opportunities you go, okay, hey, I can help you with that. We have something for you because, we do look at a meter solution. It's kind of like an insurance policy, internet insurance, if you will. Your monthly fee is kind of your premium, and then when you have an outage, that's kind of like your copay. And we have an outage calculator we can help our partners with to kind of have that discussion and show them. A lot of small businesses don't factor in what it really costs to have an outage. That's one. Two, we're going to be in Vegas, and we're excited to channel partners, and we're probably going to have some exposure and presence at the Telarus booth. We're working on that, but we're going to have a great booth there, and we're going to be announcing some exciting new vertical products that's really in the IoT space. Don't want to have time to get into today, but some vertical stuff like tank monitoring, fleet management, asset tracking. So if you're coming to Vegas, you can stop by and see those things, get your hands on the actual demos. And if you're not coming to Vegas, I'm sure through Telarus and Tiffany, we'll have a follow-up opportunity to educate you on those going into Q2.
Thank you, Chris. That's Chris Whitaker, National Director of Channel Sales for Sierra Wireless. We're so appreciative of that partnership. And Chris, we thank you for your presentation today. Thank you both. I want to bring Tiffany Wolf back in here for a second. Tiffany, of course, manages our team of mobility experts. She is our VP of Sales Operations for Mobility. And Tiffany, this has really revolutionized what Telarus is able to offer to our partners. Having you and your team here to focus on this area of the business is phenomenal. And today you've got sort of a tip of the week for us. Tell us also just a little bit about you and your team and what you can offer to our Telarus partners.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much, Doug. Hope everybody can hear me nice and clearly. Again, thanks to everybody for participating on the call today. We really appreciate it. I know there's still some questions coming in. We appreciate those. We'll get those answered. So let me go into the tip of the day really quick here, and then we'll talk about the team a little bit and what we're able to do for you and so forth. So essentially, you can make us as an extension of your team. We're very flexible into your needs. So we can be customer-facing, discovery calls, strategize with you, essentially evaluate the current book of business, for any potential revenue that the customers, that you haven't been able to, uncover at that point. We can absolutely discuss mobility and IoT providers, the different strengths and weaknesses that are in the marketplace. Very candidly, some of the solutions may not be the right fit. So we want to make sure that we're crafting and designing the right one just for your customer. Our team will also keep you up to date on current industry trends. We'll help train and certify you within the IoT and mobility sector. And then really all you need to remember is mobility@telarus.com. Just reach out with your questions, comments, concerns, any follow-up today with regards to the content that you heard regarding mobility and IoT. And like Doug was mentioning, we have a team of people here to help you. So again, literally mobility@telarus.com. And of course, feel free to reach out to your support managers and so forth to help as well. And they'll get our team on a call, whatever you need, some support there. Let's see. There's some more questions coming in, gang, and I apologize. My computer keeps going bing, bing, bing. So we'll get those answered. Again, apologies for not having the answers right at this moment. Doug, anything else?
That's it. Let's talk about the tip of the week.
Great. So the biggest thing to remember is we're literally here. We're your advocate. We are carrier agnostic. So you don't have to come into a solution just representing Verizon. We have them all. And we also have Sierra Wireless, obviously, a lot of MVNO solutions, great providers on this call today. that you can go in and customize a solution to that customer. Think TEM opportunities, sticky solutions, applications, equipment, et cetera, et cetera. So our team is really here to offer and help support you on a full-scale solution for your customers. Telarus as a whole, whether it's traditional wireline connectivity all the way to different mobility and IoT solutions, we're here to help your customers get connected. So anything that you need, feel free to reach out to us. Again, mobility@telarus.com.
There are so many opportunities that are available out there, and so many times I think we have passed on mobility because we haven't been seen as the mobility experts in the market. But with the addition of Tiffany and her team, we have really grown that area of the business, and Telarus is your best source of assistance for mobility opportunities. Don't hesitate to talk to your partner support manager about available opportunities and get right into mobility@telarus.com. Let Tiffany and her team help you develop and flesh out those opportunities and help you close those opportunities with the right solution and the right carrier. We have the best resources available to assist with that business. Tiffany will be back next week with additional presenters and additional tips to help you develop that part of your business. So appreciate you being on the call, Tiffany, and hope to have you again here next week for more. Thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you very much, Doug, and thanks to all of our presenters for joining today.
We also thank Steve Bergquist from Sprint and Chris Whitaker from Sierra Wireless. Reminder to all of you to sign up for our Telarus Innovation Conferences. They are coming up very shortly. We have 3 this month. Check that schedule and get registered for those. You don't want to miss those opportunities. Our thanks to each of you for your attendance and participation today and every Tuesday on our weekly call. We are back next week. Till then, I'm Doug Miller, the voice of Telarus. Have a great selling week, everyone.